fiercely pursuing accountability on policy and implementation. It's time for another DJ Elf 7 candidate interview.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy DJ Elf 7, and today I have a very special guest. Honestly, he's different from the. As you know, I'm interviewing every candidate running for office, but this candidate is of particular interest. Not only because he's running for mayor, but he's actually run for mayor in the past. So he's going to have some insight. He's been involved with politics in a way that many of these other candidates honestly never have. Andrew Yang, the supposed frontrunner right now, just all of a sudden, right? Yeah, he never thought about being mayor for like years and years. All of a sudden, right, it just occurred to him, just as he lost the presidential campaign, maybe I'll be mayor in New York, you know what I mean? But, Smithie has been grappling with the issues for years and years. There's a real difference there. So let's check it out. Smithie, what's your story, man?
Well, my story is politics. You really can't predict anything. Anything will happen. Things change, voters change, and issues and policies that affect people kind of change as well. So nothing is fixed. Nothing is rooted except the politicians or the individuals themselves.
Right.
But saying you're rooted does not mean you don't have to be flexible, does not mean you should not see things for the way it is or for the way they are or what it's going to be. Now, with the way the situation is in New York City, I would say let us forget about all these individuals that are running and let us look at New York City as it is. They all have their backers, they all have whatever, yes. But are they really saying anything to help the average New Yorker? Are they really doing anything to help the individual New Yorker? No, they're not, because they are in a way out of touch. Things are different now from when I used to campaign together with Anthony Weiner, for example. He's like on the spot, he's like really into the people.
Right. So
yes,
that's
but
actually,
now,
yeah.
I'm not getting that vibes. For example, we have COVID. The city has been shut down for just over a year now. People are struggling to make ends meet. People can't feed their family. Can't do a lot of things that they used to do. Businesses are closing up.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to start talking about old issues, or do we need to start toying party politics when we have things like that to do? Yes, we don't. But the best thing we can do now is forget about party politics, forget about traditional issues, come up with something pragmatic to solve the situation. That's the only way we could bring the city back to life and get everybody working together.
Cool. All right. So I believe that.
Because,
yeah.
and the easiest way to do that now, from what is happening now, is get everyone out to get vaccinated. Once everyone get vaccinated, then they're ready to go out and work. They're ready to open up their businesses. They're ready to interact, and then we'll kickstart the city.
Okay.
That is
okay.
the easiest thing to do.
So
none of these candidates are talking about it. They are so much into themselves.
Okay, let me actually ask you some questions about that. Now the thing is that I am going to challenge you on some of these things as well. So the thing is that you said, I like the fact you're going beyond party politics. Honestly, that's what I believe in myself in my heart too as well. But are you running on the Republican line, or are you running as an independent?
Very good. I'm running as independent, and I'll be collecting my signatures from next month.
Okay,
as of now, Republicans are divided within themselves. So yes, if I want to run as a Republican, I'll be running as what I call a radical Republican, which means I care more about welfare of the state, economic well-being of the people, and the common good of all matters a lot to me as a radical Republican. Republicans are not into that now, so that's why I'm running as an independent.
Cool. All right. There are some, I think positions that you may share with Republicans, some positions you may share with Democrats, some positions that you may not share with either party. I like that about you. You're definitely your own guy. You're definitely individual. Yeah. So.
You also forgot one other thing. That is the Libertarian Party.
Oh, okay.
We are not trading enough. We need to trade more. That is what I'm saying. So now you have a candidate like me who can talk like a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, a progressive, call it whatever. But the main thing is we got to do things for the common good, for the well-being of everybody.
Not that it's been decided, but I know there's already one mayoral candidate running in the Libertarian Party, already claiming it and already going. You know which one I'm talking about? Some white lady.
Possibly, yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's
But
cool.
the thing
Yeah,
is,
I like
like I said,
libertarians. I like Green Party. Actually, I have a libertarian that I
yeah.
meet up with every Saturday at 3 p.m. I'd like to invite you to that. Every Saturday at 3 p.m. I
Cool.
have a meeting with people from different parties to talk about what we can agree on. Because, like you, like most of New York City, like most of America, I also believe that the time for the two-party system, whatever, I don't give a shit about that. You know what I mean? I care about the policies and just getting things done for the people, just like yourself. So I really like that message. I also had another question about so that actually leads me to my next question right there about your COVID response. And one of my questions later on, but I guess you're taking care of it now. Yeah, it has to do with what are your plans as mayor for New York City, right, for reopening. So your plan is to get everybody vaccinated, and then we're gonna just be able to reopen and go back to normal. That's the basic summary of your plan right there, right?
You could say it that way, but it's more to do than just get everyone out back to business because the jobs are not there.
Okay. So I'll tell you that
Yes.
there's a lot of people.
Most businesses that a lot of people know are not there anymore. A lot of people have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So, but the key now is the best way to get the city back
But
to
yeah.
business. I'm not sure if you've seen what I wrote on my website. I plan to set up a system whereby the whole of 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue, Columbus Avenue, and other areas in Manhattan, and also in Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, where people go to do businesses. I plan to like shut down what they have as a, what do you call it? You know, the thing that they give you ticket about when you park your car.
Parking ticket.
Yes.
Okay.
Shut it down for half a day or even a whole day till 7 p.m.
Okay.
You're giving people enough time to go out and patronize local businesses in their areas.
Ooh,
You're giving
interesting.
people enough time to go out and meet old friends, share stories about good times, enjoy themselves, share a few drinks here and there. And
I
that is the best way to bring the city back to business because the only thing we have in the city as of now is ourselves, power of what we do, spending, what we
right.
buy, power of how we interact. That's all we have now. Also,
Okay.
one thing the city can offer us is the public space. And you can only use the public space to the fullest to bring the city back to functioning if you say, okay, free parking in these areas for half a day.
Okay. Can I
Yes, go ahead.
okay. So there's a couple questions. First of all, I want to ask you about it sounded like it was almost mandatory vaccination or some type of, but I know that the vaccination is actually not that popular. In fact, it's been said that almost half of health professionals don't want to take the vaccine. You have like Fauci lying about this, lying about that. There's obviously reasons for mistrust there. Then people feel like it's corporate, right? They hear these messages about the corporation saying that you're going to have to take a booster shot every year, and they feel like they're being forced to buy something. There's a lot of skepticism about the vaccines. How will you address people that don't want to take the vaccine in your plan?
Because people are not being educated properly about the vaccine. People are not being told what the effect of the virus is going to be,
They're
even
being
after
lied to.
COVID.
They're being lied to, and they have a
No,
reason
it's
not to
not that they've
trust.
been lied to, it's just that they are not being told what they need to know. For example, you have to come out and say, look, this is COVID. After COVID, life is going to be different. COVID is going to be like other viruses we have in the past. It is not a germ that you can treat this way, and it is a virus.
Okay. Now,
And once you suppress it, it stays in your system, it lives with you, becomes part of you. Whereas you got to understand that it's not the only virus that we have eradicated in the country that has become part of us that is still living with us. So if you take this virus vaccine, there's a possibility that other viruses could wake up There's a possibility that this could happen or that could happen, but that is temporary. Once you notice that symptoms come back, this is what we'll do. This is what we'll do to get you back to
Mm-hmm.
normal.
Okay, so let me ask the next
So
question. Yeah,
it's a process, yes,
that's fine.
but
Okay.
they're not talking about it.
There's gonna be different opinions on that particular issue, so that's fine. You know what I mean? But you're,
That's
I
right.
get where you're coming from, and I get where
Yes, yes.
you need certain things to fall in place for other things to happen. So I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? But
Also,
yeah,
another thing is you got to ask people, what have you been eating for the past few months? What have you been drinking before you give them the vaccine shots?
yeah.
If you don't know what they have been eating, then there's a possibility that their body will react to
Yeah,
it.
blood
For
clots, right?
example,
Yeah.
if you see someone who has been thinning his blood
Mm-hmm.
for the past few months, you give him a vaccine, it will work very well without any problem.
Well,
Okay?
then
But if
well,
you
yeah,
see someone who's been like grabbing cheese and eating,
yeah,
feeding
yeah.
himself or herself on fat and sugar,
Yeah.
and you give him a vaccine shot, you're gonna have a problem.
Well, there's always going to be that subpopulation with immunodeficiency
Yes,
issues or autoimmune
yes,
issues or who it's medical field. Any weird thing can happen, right? But I
yes.
overall I agree
So
with
the
your well,
best,
yeah.
that's true. The best
Yeah.
thing they could do is if you're coming for a vaccine, stay off this food or that food for the next 3 days before you come to the vaccine. Drink enough water in between that period before you come for the vaccine. Do this and do that. That will help a lot. We're not getting that. And they're not even saying after the shot, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do.
You know,
It's so easy for
that's
people to fall back to old habits, and that is why we're having issues like blood clot and people reacting to the vaccine.
the thing is, like, literally just a year ago, right? Yeah, literally, like, I think about a year ago, you heard constant talks on the TV about, like, we don't know how this virus works. Are the respirators killing them or is it helping them? There was a lot of confusion. I mean, people know there's a lot of business interests, like, in pushing the vaccine, but I get what you're saying. It's the best thing that supposedly we have now. Like, you need to, like, open up the economy. It makes sense, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
let me ask you some questions about
Yes,
that. Okay,
that.
let me ask you about this parking plan because I actually think it's yeah.
Let me stop you a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
Before we go ahead this way, at the beginning, this time last year when the virus started and people don't know anything about it, I used my experience of doing nuclear biological warfare to actually look at this thing carefully
Right.
and analyze three different ways in which these virus actually attack everybody or anybody
Sure, okay.
or works. And best ways to go about preventing or not preventing it, not to stop it, but at least to minimize the effect on you as an individual. I wrote extensively about it. I have a lot more. All the things that I posted, they were like, well, you're not a biologist, you're not this, you're not that. How should we believe you? So those are the kind of things that we are missing because in those days, if you were in the military and you've done a couple of things in the military, pre-Cold War, post-Cold War, you know about these things like this. But we don't do that anymore. And that is why we got into all this mess. You could see how the situation with the Navy was handled. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be done this way, but the officers came together and had it done this way, and it was a big mess.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
helps to follow
So,
protocols. You're right. Protocols are
yes,
in place and
yes,
certain things are
yes,
known.
yes,
General
yes.
information that is very useful and hopefully
That's
there's more
right.
but what compliance is difficult. Right now people in South Beach are going nuts. They're not following the protocol. Like even if you have like this the vaccine thing, the people will not follow. There's people we'll see how many follow it, you know what I mean? But I wish that we could yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of work still needed to be done to get
Yeah.
people to really come out and get vaccinated. This is a
Yeah.
life and death issue. And even if you have to bring more Michael Jordan and all these well-known guys out, Al Pacino, and say, look, I got vaccinated, there's nothing wrong with it. We need to change that culture. People just don't trust the government because of what has happened in the past. But we need to get past that. We need to get beyond that. Look at how the whole situation was handled in China. You were not given any option. They were going everywhere and spraying everywhere. We haven't done that here, have we?
Well,
Yes.
are you thinking
So
that's a reasonable solution though? Lock people down, tell them
well,
they can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Start contact tracing them and everything like that. Don't you think
it
that's a little?
worked for them. It worked for them. It worked for the kind
Damn.
of system they have.
Yikes.
But if
Okay.
we have the hands-on system here, the
Right.
same hands-on approach here, things will be different. People will know that this is serious, and
Maybe
this is has
there
got nothing to do with their rights
there
or
is something to be said
privileges.
for effectiveness. You know what I mean? And honestly, you're
Yes,
right. It is possible that many lives could have been saved if the proper protocols had been
yes, yes,
followed instead of people trying to play
yes,
politics and some stupid crap like that. So
yes,
I
yes,
appreciate that.
yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes. But you know what? This virus is even nothing. There's another one which not only makes you sneeze, it makes you crap as well.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
more dangerous. That will wipe out a whole population
You know. Yeah.
in a few weeks.
Okay.
So we're lucky this is what we have. We have to deal with it. It is tough, but we got to deal with it.
Yeah.
If we don't deal with it, we end up with this kind of issue. But let's just
Mm-hmm.
hope we don't get the one that's a lot worse.
I can provide just a little bit of reasoning for that. You probably already know, right? Yeah. Well, why is it that the gastrointestinal viruses are more dangerous than the respiratory ones? Go ahead, let them know. I'll tell you because the respiratory.
Because
Go ahead, you know. The respiratory virus. The respiratory virus needs people to walk around and breathe and cough on each other, in order to
yeah,
pass itself along. But the
yeah,
gastrointestinal one, you can lie on your bed and just shit, you know what I mean, and then drop
yes,
it into the water
yes,
system where it's passing on, and it's a much
yes,
more uncomfortable, deadly, and it does not need its victims to spread it in that way. When you feed them, you
no,
will
not
bring
at
the
all.
food to them, infect your hand, touch your mouth. It doesn't need you to walk around. It'll pass itself
You
through other
can
ways.
control it,
Yeah,
and it's tend everything that's
yeah.
with you, that's around you, and you really can't get rid of
It,
it.
it wants you
It is
incapacitated so someone
uncomfortable.
else has to carry your
Yes,
waste. Those things will
yes,
actually propagate those very harmful viruses. So yeah, we can control it. So that's
yes.
that's very wise, and that's why those protocols exist. Just so you know. But let's get on to the parking thing, okay? I was in med school, just so you know. Not that there's some issues about that, but that's going on separate, yeah. But anyways, I am into that and public health. That's something I really, John Snow, not the guy from. He's actually one of the founding physicians. You guys should watch about that. Maybe I'll do an episode on that. But he's one of the most famous health physicians that actually stopped the plague by finding that it was coming from a well instead of thinking that it was passed by air or something like that. He found out the cause of it. So let's go to the parking thing, and I think that actually that's a viable solution. But we also know that's going to cause some revenue loss. But okay, the thing is that you probably know a lot of ways that the city's wasting money, you know what I mean, and can clean it up. So I'm not mad at the parking thing, but how are we going to get the money for it? Okay, hopefully it's not
All
not
right,
new
look at it
taxes.
this way.
Where are you going to pull the money out? Go
Look,
ahead.
look at it this way. The only asset that the city has now is the public space. And how we use it, how we manage it, is the only way to get the city back.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that public space
Because,
thing. Okay.
yes. So now, if you get people to get into public space and use the public space, they're going to trade, they're going to sell things, they're going to buy things.
Okay.
Okay. But the thing is, they will be going to different areas where they're afraid of going to before because they're afraid I can only park for 30 minutes or an hour and I have to pay this to the parking meter or whatever. But if
Okay.
you remove that, then they can go spend more time in that area, buy more things, and move on to somewhere
So
else.
open space means open parking, not open space like in general. So it doesn't mean like anybody who wants to open up like a street stall can just set up a table and start selling stuff.
If they want to set up a thrift store, if they want to set up a burger joint, if they want to set up whatever, they need to get a permit for that.
Okay, so those
Okay.
things are still in place.
Oh,
Okay. I
yes.
just want to make
So
sure what
those
free
things,
open space
yes,
means. Okay. All right.
yes. It's not going to be like something without, no, 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 no. You have a plan. People will
Okay.
buy tickets to be able to bring things out to sell to other people. But the
Okay.
thing is, you want people to be able to drive from A to B to visit places, park without them worrying about getting a ticket.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, which means People that would normally go to a place and spend like $20 will now have the freedom to spend more than $20 in
Okay.
that place, look around, come back, move on to somewhere else.
I actually have
People
another
that
interview.
want to,
Yeah, I have another interview coming up, and I actually have a series of questions. So I really want to chop through these questions real quick because honestly, kind of like running low on the time. I appreciate the detail though. I am going to ask about your particular series of questions, but I'm going to ask you to try to keep the answers a little bit shorter. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just have a crazy schedule.
all right, yeah,
So let's get
that's
to it
fine.
right there. So the thing is that, right, I know you're talking about your positions. I will ask about your positions on things later, and I will give you time to really elaborate on the differences between your position versus others. But let's talk about what about your perspective from all the way from 2016 through 2020, right? Yeah. What issues do you think are the most important as in terms of New York City from your, from being involved in watching politics for this long?
Homelessness issue, we got to fix that problem.
Yeah. 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 If you go to
We
like,
got we got to fix rent and we got to fix affordable homes. We
okay.
need to build more, and I have a plan for doing that. And I plan to start building from Midtown. A lot of people don't know it's possible to build or to rearrange Midtown, New York City. That is where I plan to start from.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so let me start asking about the rest of these
I will
questions.
not only be dealing with landlords, I'll be dealing with people who bought properties, kept it empty because they're just sitting there and waiting for the interest to grow. Yes, that's fine. But if I
Yeah.
say I'm going to bring a bedroom tax, which means if you have an apartment, you have an extra space or a lot of extra spaces that a bedroom could fit into, and it's not your living room, you got to be taxed for that. Otherwise, rent it out. It's the only way we could get people off the street. It's the only way we could get people to live in areas like Midtown that was dead during COVID.
Okay.
There are a lot of other places as well dead during COVID. Like if you go downtown New York, Lower Manhattan, some areas with because
So
a lot of people don't live there.
there's been some
So
discussion about converting hotels into like, homeless, and they're already using some of those for homeless shelters, things like that.
yeah, yeah.
So is that is that your primary source for bedding and stuff like that, or are you planning like other places
No,
like?
no,
Okay.
no, no. There's something called hotel and condominium things that can be done.
Okay.
Because you see, these hotel guys are complaining because they moved from being high end to low end occupants. They're
Yeah.
not used to dealing with people that are straight off the street. They're not used to getting things off from the government, which is not even up to Section 8 level. So that's fine. If they are not ready to deal with that and give them the option of hotel and condominium. But some of them will be like, oh, we're okay to accommodate these people, give them that room.
What about the
But there
exist?
are other
Yeah. What about protecting existing nitrous spaces as they're being privatized right now under red?
privatized for what? That will be looked into because the city has an obligation to meet. And you
Okay.
need to look into the city's charter.
Let me tell you. Okay.
Remember, this is a charter
Yeah.
city.
The lar-
Yes.
okay.
So you need to look into that. Yes.
The largest landowner in New York City is NYU. And actually, the Tenants Association of a group that I just protested with, her actual building just got bought by Cornell Pace. We've created these financial giants in the educational industry that are really dipping in and taking all the funding and tax money that we're giving them and reinvesting it into real estate, investments that are going to be making them money profitably, but they're tax free. Get the fuck out of here, really, okay? It's ridiculous. And the thing is that what happened is that during Obama's era, there was something called, there was RAD. And some of the talk around there was honestly kind of dope, you know what I mean? They'd be like, yo, this is what's going on. We have trouble repairing these homes. So we're going to bring private money into the system to try to help out. So here's where it's cool. You say the people that are living in those homes, we're going to give them a leg up. We're going to give them a path to their own financial solvency. We're going to say that they have option to buy their homes, right? Yeah, put private money into the repairs and maybe, or, somehow create a path to ownership. You know what I mean? That would be incredible. But that talk lasted for about 10 seconds until the developer said, oh my God, is there some Manhattan real estate that I could get my hands on? Bam, they're trying to. Why is all the affordable housing in New York City like close to 2 Gs for a studio apartment? I'll tell you why. Because the thing is that as soon as it goes to 2,100 after they get the 4% increase every year, it becomes it goes into luxury apartment status and is no longer under any type of rent control. They want to bring all these apartments onto market rate apartments where they're no longer controlled, so they're just basically bonanza time, and they're hand over fist money by taking over the night. Look at Stuytown used to be a project. Now, right, Peter Cooper Stuyvesant and Stuytown, celebrities live there. You know what I mean? That's like 2000.
Yes,
that's big money. Yeah.
I know. Now, NYU, can you hear me?
Yeah. So, like, the thing is, right, the privatization.
NYU,
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, NYU is not the only landlord you have. Like Columbia University, you have the Catholic Church, you have other churches and other bodies as well.
Yeah.
Now, my approach to this is, if you can solve rent issues in New York City, you can solve a lot of problems, because people will have money to do things that they have not been doing before. They'll have money to sit back and enjoy things that they have not been able to before. They will have money to put aside to start collecting artworks, to start patronizing poets and people that are in the arts and culture. But because of rent, they've not been able to do that, because they've had to work every day just to be able to make rent.
Right.
Now, that could be changed, and landlords will just have to see that, because we now have a new technology. I'm planning on introducing, I did not want to say this now, but somehow you kind of forced my hand. I plan to introduce 3D printer into the city. You have 3D printers that could be used to print buildings, skyscrapers. With that alone, you don't need a lot of workers. You can use like a quarter of workers that are used in a building to build half of Harlem in 6 months.
I understand. Okay,
so yes,
I'm going to ask you for some.
I will build new houses. If I print those houses, I'll print them. The cost is going to be 4 times cheaper than what you have, which means a property that is going for $1 million will now be like maybe 200,000. It means people that are earning, you're giving people that are earning 50 or 60,000 a year a means to own their own. That's a huge shift.
I'm not sure, like, sometimes, like, you also have, like, air rights. There's different reasons why a property is worth a certain amount. They may be impinged by, like, by environmental hazards, things like that, right? I do agree with the design. I'm not sure that's going to make the whole change, but I think it can.
Those buildings are not green, are they?
But I think that the 3D printing may. I'm not sure about it. Yeah, but yeah.
Zoning right does not mean you cannot rearrange space.
I do think that the 3D printing, right? Yeah, the manufacturing of that, we'll have to explore. I have to explore more. I haven't really explored it, but there may be cost savings, there may be design savings, there may be possibilities that are really engaged by this new technology that may really be a game changer. So I think that's cool to explore it. I don't really know that much about it. We could talk another episode about that, but running low on time. Let me ask you just about your positions on several issues, if I can. Yeah, some of them are yes, no. Some of them require a little bit of exposition, but hopefully not too much. Yeah. So first of all, do you know Julian Assange? Do you support Julian Assange?
Yes.
You've done that before. I appreciate that, man. Just had to get that again on the Uno.
The
WikiLeaks guy. Number 2, do you support UBI?
UBI?
Yeah.
UBI, money for everybody? No, I don't.
Okay.
Because it's unsustainable. And it's not the best way to go.
Another,
we don't have, the city of New York does not have its own treasury. We cannot print our own money. We cannot print our own credit.
I'd also like to point people out to it. Yeah.
I don't want to see a situation where we have to privatize New York City water services or privatize the subway
to fund UBI?
Fund UBI.
Okay.
No.
Okay, well, just one thing that, I like UBI, but just to tell you one thing about UBI that I just want people to be aware of that is actually dangerous about UBI is there's a study called Rat Utopia where they gave rats, enough food, Oh, you know about this study? Yeah? They gave rats all the food and space.
UBI is nothing new.
Yeah.
First time the UBI or something like this was tried was during the Elizabethan period in England. We're talking like more than 300 years ago or even 500 years.
And what was that? Well,
Queen Elizabeth I tried it.
let me just finish the rat.
Didn't work.
Yeah, let me just tell you the rat utopia thing, and then I'll hear that story because I want people
Okay.
to just understand what happened. They gave the rats all the food and space that they gave them like more than enough, yeah, than they needed. But the thing is that the rats like lost any reason to really do anything in their lives, and they became the whole society, and it ended up killing. Every single one of them died, and they could not save a single rat. All of them died. They became socially like they couldn't interact with each other, but not because of a lack of food or anything. The lack of purpose in their lives destroyed them. And actually, we talked about that real quick in the last time that we said, like, in some ways, welfare had become a trap where people have come to expect, right? They never dream of doing anything. They think the government's just going to take care of them, and they've lost their sense of desire and passion. You know what I mean? It's been, yeah,
Yes, I don't.
yeah. So,
You're right with what you said. Yes, you're right.
yeah,
But the thing is, it's not that warfare is bad. You just have to have a plan. I'm gonna give you this if you do this, and this will be only be available to you for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of period.
yeah,
It shouldn't be a hindrance. It should be used as a way of either creating job or moving people out of poverty.
yeah.
But the best way we could move people out of poverty is to turn them into their own business owner or interest, small businesses. That's the best way to go.
Yeah.
And this is actually the best time to do it because we're going to be bombarded with AI and all kind of issues that will be affecting unions very soon. All the things that we know about unions and the benefits and workers' rights will not be there anymore because a lot of people will be working from home. A lot of people will be working remotely.
Okay. Well,
So we need to wake up for that. Nobody is talking about it. None of the mayoral candidates saying this because they
sure,
all want the unions to back them up.
sure.
I'm not pandering to the unions. I'm not pandering to anybody. I'm just telling them what is there and what is going to happen and the best way to go about getting people prepared for this.
Sure. What's your
So
time?
yes,
Yeah.
UBI is okay temporarily, but it's not okay to be made a permanent thing because some people will have to be paying for that. Do you want to
Mm,
tax the rich to her? No.
I think there's. I still like it, but I get it. You know, what I mean, that's cool. I think you bring up valid points, and there's a lot of ways you guys could have screwed up. So we need to have
Yes,
critics in the game. It's not just okay to
yes,
blanket approve any
yes,
policy. That's very dangerous.
yes,
That's God's
yes,
truth. Okay. So
yes.
let me just. So I like that you bring some valid, perspectives on it. But I want to ask the next question is right. What is your timeline for reopening? If you were a mayor, right? When would people, I guess, go back to normal? I guess, and everything be reopened. Is there a timeline for you in that or expectation?
I would say this summer, but I haven't seen. I need to check data. I need to
That's
look
a
at the
common
number of
answer.
figures.
That's probably the most common answer. To tell you the
So,
truth, yeah. That's what.
so
Yeah,
yes, I really cannot say specifically yes this summer, but I would
I
say the
get it.
best
I
time
get
to
it. Yeah,
open will be
right.
this summer.
Okay. What about also we take a look at the education system over here. There's some controversy about SHSAT. There's some controversy about magnet schools, and what's your take on the education system, and what are you going to do about that?
I told you it's. I've told, like I said. I mean, my view is we got to review our education system and set up a new system that will tackle with issues that we're going to face very soon, which is things that will affect
Do you have
those
do you
that
have
are less well off.
do you have a
But first,
yeah?
yes,
Do you
I
have a position
said
yet on SHSAT? Do you have a position yet on SHSAT?
I wouldn't say yes and I wouldn't say no, but I wouldn't say yes to SHT before if there's no civic education.
Okay, so you would
We need to
change.
go back. Yes,
I get you. So you
we need
change
to
the
go back to
curriculum,
that.
and then test on the new
Yes,
curriculum. Yeah,
yes, yes, and then we could build up on that.
that kind of makes sense to me.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There's no point in turning people into robots when they cannot think and then analyze things. It
How,
doesn't make sense.
how do you feel about charter schools?
Charter schools are great,
Okay.
but we still have to look at it and see what we can do to get the best students into that system.
Yeah.
Sometimes because people score 100% does not mean they are the best.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a kid who is distracted, who's like cannot really focus and
Yeah.
he's scoring low marks, but that does not mean he doesn't know what is going to understand what is going on.
Yeah.
Some people are late starters. We got to like pick on those people and see how best we can get them into that system.
Yeah.
So if we, I wouldn't say because we have charter school system, I'm going to cut it off. But like I said, we need to create a new system that will address different students individually and see and bring out the best out of them.
Yeah, I like that response. I know you said charter schools are great. I think that I think what you really meant is that some charter schools can be great, and you know what I mean. The thing is that really, when we apply a label, it's dangerous for us to say everything is good on this label and everything is bad on that label. But charter schools are controversial and attacked. I think that's why you had that response, right? Because people often say charter schools, oh my God, that's the devil. You know what I mean? So you're coming back like saying, and charter schools can be great, have been proven for students that have been let down by the public education system. Yes, they exist, okay? And thank God that they had an alternative available. But
before charter schools, we used to have trade schools.
Right.
Yes.
They're still around, kind of.
People, yes.
Yeah.
But we're pumping money into that.
They should be. They should be.
Because service, knowledge, education is what we need to bring the city back.
Yeah.
What into shape.
And practical knowledge, not this kind of like weird fuzzy, like like are you a him or are you a he him or a her she? Come on, man, like. We already got that down. We don't need to that. Like I graduated in 1990s. Like I didn't learn that, but like I'm a he, you're a he, and if you want me to call to her, I'm not mad at that. I could do that. You know what I mean? It's not really like I need to go to school for that. It's not like I swear something a third grader could do. You know what I mean?
Which is why I said, let us forget about giving names to everything. Let us look at our education system and revamp it.
I like that. Yeah.
Ways to meet new challenges. Also, another thing that I'd love to do in New York City is to improve transport network, to improve services. For example, I'd love to build a new airport that will handle just cargo, just cargoes, going abroad, coming in, and then I'd love to build a new set of fast rail lines that will go into all these cities and states that provide agricultural products. They need to get it out in the market. Let them ship them or put them on a train into New York City, and from New York City, we'll ship them out to China, to India, to wherever.
I do have to get to my next interview, but I just want to ask you a quick question about this one right here. We take a look at the way that right now the way the packages are shipped. Packages are actually usually shipped in passenger flights to try to make up some cost. You know what I mean? They try to jam those planes right now at the maximum capacity with stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, packages, whatever. So the thing is that when these flights are already carrying out some of these courier transport duties and stuff like that, I can see some benefits to having a separate line for parcels or things like that. But right, is it I would think that the current market system is already attributing to that, and I don't really have a problem with getting my packages now. Why do you think that needs to be changed? Is it because of efficiencies of economy or something, or where's the real? Right.
You need something that is fast, that is going to be efficient. We're not dealing in the next couple of months. We'll be trading more with Asia than we have been doing with Europe or Middle East.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. Can they?
Listen, we're talking a new civilization that is very efficient and they like things done like this.
Yeah.
So we have to change our mindset and be precise and be ready to meet that market.
Now
That's a huge market.
The airlines are probably efficient at extracting wealth from us. You know what I mean? And really making every single cent of profit they can. So,
but since we don't make anything else, we don't manufacture things in New York City anymore, the best thing we can do is provide that service, which means help one good from area to the other. We can move things faster. If we have an airport that is just for cargo and nothing else.
Okay.
When people travel, they travel with their luggage, that's fine. They don't have to worry about having their things mixed up with these liquid, battery, and all kind of things.
Sure. I have some groups. Yeah. I have some groups that I work with. One of those groups is the disabled. Disabled people right now do not even. There's a law out there that says that they're allowed to get sub minimum wage. People that are, minimum wage is barely subsistence wage, and a lot of these people with disabilities, they're struggling with, issues that are honestly, give them more costs. Do you think that we could actually get people with disabilities up to minimum wage? Do you think that's something that you would be for?
Yes, it is possible. I'd love to get disabled, regardless of whatever their disability.
Yeah, they don't deserve less than minimum wage. Come on, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
They have skills. They
Yeah.
have skills,
Yeah.
and they can perform better than anyone
yeah.
who's like full-bodied. Yes, I'll give them that opportunity
Even if they're right.
without
Yeah.
that thing affecting their disability status.
Yeah, there's a way for people to, even through their perspective of being, they can provide value, right? Yeah, even just by being
Yeah,
individuals.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
their story, who knows? Yeah, but there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for them to be, treated like full human beings. Come on, yeah?
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much for that. Another thing is that often people in the trans community, right? Yeah, find themselves like, not kicked out of housing and stuff like that, right? Because of discrimination and things like that. How can we help people like that? You know what I mean? That are and I get it, right? You could pass a law saying you can't kick trans people out, but the people will find a way to do it anyways. How can we as leaders help this community that feels that they are, and I get it, I mean, how can we help them maybe not deal with so much oppression?
By talking,
Talking, yeah.
by educating people,
Okay.
and we really cannot force landlords. People will still discriminate, just like they've been doing to Asians.
Yeah.
If you go into the Asian community, housing issue is a big problem. A lot of people don't know about it. Homelessness issue is a big problem. Joblessness issue, in fact, since COVID, is a huge problem within that community. People don't talk about it. So,
Wait,
as much as we bring these experience all together, Asian, trans, or whatever, so these are sensitive people, these are sensitive issues, and we're going to deal with it.
I have an idea, right? What happens if, right, yeah,
Go ahead.
if the thing is that in the housing sector, if we see that there's some discrimination against trans people, right, yeah, then we make extra allowances for them in the public housing system. You know what I mean? Because,
Yes.
right, yeah, and I don't want to put them all in their own house or something. But we're gonna try to make it work for them. You know what I mean? And we will not leave them behind. And that's the best we can do.
No.
That's the best we can. We're gonna try though. We're gonna give you our honest effort here. You know what I mean? We're not gonna BS about it. I give you my
See, the
word.
easiest thing to do is give landlord credits, which is what they want.
Oh,
If you
maybe.
if you have a huge building, about 100 apartments,
Yeah.
and maybe 20% of that you give to trainees or whatever. So that is
That okay. I'm not. Well, okay. Maybe. I think that should be standard. So, you know what I mean? Like,
we have
yeah.
something like that working already. We just need to add into it, which is why.
But then, right? But then people will say they're
Let us-
trans. People will say they're trans just to get savings, and it'll be some jacked up stuff. So, who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
It's not possible to fake being a trans.
It's yeah. People will always. I don't know, man. I don't know.
But
I don't even.
said,
Yeah. Okay.
When it comes to things like this, we
Yeah.
are dealing with the softer side of our infrastructure, which is our laws,
Yeah.
and admins, and
Yeah.
that has to be upgraded to accommodate for people like this, for things like this, and that's the best way to go about it.
And that's right. We got it. And the thing is that right, a lot of groups you're gonna see, right? Yeah, try to cut out DJL7. A lot of these panels and stuff you see, I don't think they're inviting Smithie. You know what I mean? They want to right. They want to discriminate against independents, right? They say you got to be Democrat or Republican. Why? There's no reason why we have to discriminate and stop listening to another brother or sister. Smithie, anybody who's not listening to you is dumb, okay? You're running for mayor. You got a great perspective. You've been running for a while. You ran twice for mayor. That means you're paying attention to the issues. Thank you for coming on today. I got to run to this next meeting right here, but thank you so much. God bless, and we'll catch up
Thanks
again
a
soon.
lot.
This
Yeah.
Saturday I'm having a multi-party meeting to discuss issues on education reform at 3 p.m. Tell your friends, all right?
Good.
See you, all
Let
right?
me know, I'll be up for it. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot.
See ya.
You too. Take care.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you could hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.